This is the kind of country Australia has become, a communist country, right? 99% of accountants are boring. They're the kids in high school that used to dob on you. You ask him to do something that's a little bit grey, right? Not illegal, a little bit grey.
Okay.
As soon as you leave his office, he has to pick up the tax office and dob on you. Yeah, I call myself a financial surgeon. I don't like the word accounting because you cannot panic. It's not like this. It's not a smooth road.
Yeah.
It's going to be up and down, up and down. I have clients that panic. Who's the one person that survives? The one that doesn't panic. The one that fights
That's true.
and fights and fights and fights.
What's that one tough nut that you've had in your career?
And I say to them privately, I don't think you're made for business.
To deep dive into a conversation with one of the best names when it comes to business international financial planning, we have Mr. Peter Raviski, who's the founder of Investment Plus Accounting Group.
A niche.
Yeah.
You can charge a premium. Clients don't mind paying it because you've solved their problem. The niche is the most important thing.
Right.
If you don't have a niche, it's going to be...
Hi everybody, so we're very excited to have this podcast in the buzzing city of London and another podcast powered by Cluster of Achievers, and very excited to deep dive into a conversation with one of the best names when it comes to business international financial planning. We have Mr. Peter Raviski, who's the founder of Investment Plus Accounting Group. He's more than 20 years, in fact, more than 2 decades of experience. And thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to be talking to you and understanding when it comes to financial planning. And of course, when we talk about sustainability in financial planning. So tell us, of course, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and what do we aim to achieve from this podcast per se?
So thank you for the invitation. It's great to be in London for the first time, the financial capital of the world. My accounting firm, mainly we focus on wealth creation with tax planning strategies as the engine. We look at wealth from a top-down approach in terms of structures and tax. So unless you get those two aspects right, financial planning in terms of buying shares, it's irrelevant. You need something that's going to hold the foundations, and at the same time give you more after-tax dollars so you can invest in your business,
Absolutely.
other properties, whatever.
So when we talk about the globe, the financial situation has been ever changing, and it's it's growing. Every industry per se has across the globe is evolving. So what do you have to say about that when we start crossing the borders? How does the situation changes therein?
Look, it's a good question because I actually have an office in Dubai, Singapore, and Hong Kong. We live in a global world now, and in terms of structures and tax planning strategies, Australia is one of the highest taxing nations in the world. We've got taxes on everything.
Yep.
You know, people are so demoralized in business that they
Yep.
feel as if they're just working for the government. Our highest tax rate is 50%.
Yep.
So unless you're structuring, right, unless you're preparing your business and affairs in a way that gives you more after-tax dollars, because that's the key. What are you left with after paying your tax? Then you're not going to be able to compete with the big boys. So the reason I set up my firm was to give access to good, hard-working Australians
Okay.
to advice that the elite have, the top 1%. How do they set up a structure in Dubai? How do they set up a structure in Singapore and at the same time generate wealth with paying little tax? So you need to look at the international scene.
Right. So when we talk about these two countries primarily, you mentioned about Dubai, and of course now that we are sitting in London, the situation is completely different. People, you've been also reading articles about that people are shifting from London and moving out of London. So what do you have to say about that primarily? And a lot of people, a lot of businesses are booming in city of Dubai.
Correct. We've got the same problem.
Yeah.
I know that the UK introduced certain laws that you're paying an additional tax on overseas earnings or whatnot. It's similar law to Australia, very draconian. So they thought, you know what, you guys are lucky in the sense because Dubai is only, 6 hours away, 7 hours by flight. A lot of my clients, once we set up their structure in Dubai, they think, you know what, I'm going to move there as well. So They are getting a lot of millionaires, and being a millionaire these days is not much,
Yep.
right? But ultimately, it's a playground for business.
So, if you can just tell us what kind of businesses have you helped so far? Because you've been in the industry for good 25 years. It's like you've spent your good years doing this. So, what have you felt since when you started and now when we talk about 25 years of journey? What kind of businesses have you helped, and what kind of suggestion would you like to give to probably budding entrepreneurs out there who are listening to this podcast? Because we have a lot of young generation as well. So probably people
Yeah.
who want to start their own startup, people who've been doing their businesses, but how they can also step into the world of real financial planning and tax planning.
Look, the key is to get the right advice. Like with any business, you go to a doctor, he might tell you one thing. You go to another doctor who tells you another thing. You've got to find the right doctor, right?
Yeah, true.
And in my industry, I call myself a financial surgeon. I don't like the word accountant, financial
I
surgeon.
like this financial surgeon.
So when you go to the problem we have in Australia is 99% of accountants are boring. They're the kids in high school that used to dob on you if you did something wrong. Um, I'm branded as the 1% accountant, meaning that I sit up here and 99% of accountants sit down there.
Yep.
They are so overworked. They got their head in the books. They don't even run their practice like a business. Now, if you go to an accountant and he can't even run his own business, how's he going to help you with yours? An accounting firm is a business. I run mine purely as a business too.
Okay.
So you've got to show your clients how to structure your business to scale,
Okay.
how to structure your business in case something goes wrong. I
Okay.
always think, what happens?
Disaster management.
Disaster.
Yep.
If you can't manage that, if you can't click something off your business and then set up elsewhere, you've got the wrong structure.
Absolutely.
So my structures have got a lot of fences around them. So a lot of these startups, you might start off with a structure like this, but with time, we will evolve that structure to suit your growth and your business.
Okay.
But you've got to get the right advice and you need the right people behind you.
So, but how does one go and find the right advice? Who is that? Of course, you've been in this industry and you know, like you ace at it. So, but how does one actually find the right person? Because, of course, nowadays, everyone's, like you mentioned, everyone's a financial surgeon and everyone wants to give on their advice based on their experience, based on their past experience and the people they've worked with, the clients that they've worked with. So, how does one actually find the right person?
Look, in Australia, people know who I am. So our business is growing quite well and we're picking up new clients all the time because they want to come to us. When they come to us, they say, you know what, this guy understands me. This guy talks my language. This guy's not afraid to be innovative. This guy's not scared of his own shadow. I want to be in business with this guy because you've got to ask yourself, and we have a rule in Australia, which I don't know if you guys have got it here in London,
Okay.
but it's a very dangerous rule. Accountants in the days were known as the trusted advisor. You go to your accountant, trusted advisor, no longer. There's a new rule now.
Okay.
If you go to see your accountant and you ask him to do something that's a little bit grey, right? Not illegal, a little bit grey.
Okay.
As soon as you leave his office, he has to pick up the tax office and dob on you. This is the kind of country Australia has become, a communist country,
Okay.
right? So now, when you're in business, when you go to your accountant, look at him, top to bottom. Can I trust this person in the trenches with me?
Yeah.
Will he fight with me?
Yeah.
Will he put a bullet in my back?
Yeah.
And this is the situation we have in Australia.
Okay.
And I've done plenty of podcasts about this.
Yeah.
And my phone is ringing hot because I say it as it is. I'm tough.
Yeah.
And I fight. And my clients love that.
Absolutely. I think speaking to you and actually being with you, I do surely get that energy, get that vibe that you will be somebody who's going to be, with your client,
Yes.
so to say. So tell us, when we talk about smart budgeting and when we talk about long-term success, how these two things are interconnected and how do they play a pivotal and a vital role?
Look, the key in business is to be able to get finance. Without finance, you can't grow.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to be able to have a structure that allows you to, I guess, go to the next level with finance, but also at the same time keeping the integrity of the amount of tax you pay.
Okay.
You don't want to dilute that structure by paying shitloads of tax just to get the finance. There's ways that we can do both.
Okay.
Right? It's a fine art. You know, like the things that I know, funny enough, they don't teach you this in university. I did not learn any of this in university. I was blessed as I was growing up through my career. I had good accountants I used to work for, like Mark Burris.
Okay.
He is a wizard, and he used to host a show called The Celebrity Apprentice.
Okay. So you basically, your understanding.
I worked with him.
Okay.
And then there was another guy called Ed Chan, who's probably even better.
Okay.
Right? So those guys taught me a lot of this.
Right.
University, they don't teach you this. They just want you to be a good tax collector, be a good boy. This is it. We don't want you to know anymore.
Portray a good image and
Correct.
You'll be right there.
Correct.
But actually, I think the true understanding came from actually working with people,
Yes.
your professors, people
Yes.
who have, taught you in life,
Yes.
in real life,
Correct.
more than what you've been taught in your university.
Exactly. University does not teach you any of this.
That's true.
So the problem with a lot of these accountants, they don't know what I do. And secretly, they do come to me with their own clients. They say, Pete, can you
Awesome.
set this up for my client? Because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of work for other accountants,
Okay.
but I brand it in a way where they can white label it. So I don't want to take their client,
Right.
because it's all about a gentleman. Being a gentleman, you come to me, I shake my hand. I'm not going to pinch your client.
Yeah.
But it tells you that the depth, a lot of these accountants that are out there don't know what I do, but they come to me to fix the problem for their client, sorry.
Of course, they have that trust as well
Yes,
that
correct.
it's going to be theirs only. Okay. So, Peter, once again, diving back into the conversation and asking you about financial literacy. So to say, my personal example, when I was doing my college or my schooling for that matter, I wasn't told about how do I manage, like once I start making money, how do I actually invest it in the right way, which is the right way to invest the money in, and my money is going to be safe. I wasn't told about any of that, and even today I don't know a lot of things. So since we have people across the globe, there would be countries that would be teaching about financial education, financial literacy, but there are also countries which do not really tell us about how do you plan your assets, how do you manage your assets. If you are making some certain amount of money, how do you invest it in the right way so that it actually gives you the best returns in the future?
Well, Australia is one of those countries that doesn't teach you these things. Our tax system is probably one of the most complicated in the world.
Yeah.
It's probably about that thick. So many volumes. Now, Australians love investing in property. The reason they love investing in property because it doubles every 10 years.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know anywhere else in the country where you've got the security, the return. The rental returns are probably around 4%. It's not much. It just covers the repayments, if that's. But the real wealth creation is the property when it doubles in value every 10 years. Now, when you buy a property, most people think, I'll just buy it in my name. Next minute, you own 5 or 6 properties in your own name. And in Australia, we have a thing called land tax.
Okay.
So land tax is governed by the states, where you can't really get out of it. It's just based on the value of the land. Now, if you structured everything in your name, you're paying plenty of land tax, too much. But there's ways to buy it in other structures where you minimise your land tax. So the first $1 million in Australia is tax-free, land value. But if you're buying property all the time in your own name, and the average price of a property in Sydney is probably about $1 million anyway, the land tax on that you're paying every year because you've done the wrong mistake is $9,000 every year. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it actually is.
Because they didn't get the right advice. They didn't understand it. It's too complicated to teach people. I've got a master's degree and I struggle with it sometimes.
Yeah.
So even if they wanted to, it's too complicated for the average punter to fathom it. And that's why you got to go to a person that understands this kind of thing.
Yeah. But also, like, if the people who are watching this podcast, even for professors and for masters who are not really, guiding you on financial literacy or financial, for that matter, what is that one advice you'd like to give it to individuals? How do they really take their path, a sustainable path that also gives you a return in the future? How do you really invest your money? Where do you really invest your money? Because of course, I'm sure you must be having clients from all across different avenues. You'll be having clients from FMCG, you'll be having clients from retail, from different businesses who want to step into businesses or who are already doing good, who are doing wonders in their business. But still every now and then you want to open new paths and new avenues. How you can double your money? If not double your money, how you can use it rightly?
Look, it comes back to what I originally said, finance.
Yeah.
In Australia, the banks are very lazy. Out of the top 10 banks in the world, 4 of them are Australians. So the Australian banks make a lot of money because they don't take a lot of risk. They control 90% of the market. 90% of the market being real estate. When you ask for other finance outside of real estate, they don't really like it. So you're forced to build your wealth in Australia through real estate. Now, when you buy that property and doubles in 10 years, you've got equity you can borrow against to invest in your business. And that's what a lot of businesses are doing. They're buying a property, doubles in value. All of a sudden, they've got $1 million equity sitting in there. They borrow against that as security. Because the banks don't like lending for a business. Yes, you can lease a car, you can lease machinery. If the machinery is too complicated or it can't be resold a lot, they want real estate security.
Absolutely.
So it makes it very difficult to grow at the start. But once you've established yourself, banks throw money at you. But to get there from the start to the point of establishment, it's a tough yak, Not easy.
Yeah, surely. That gets to my next question. You've worked with clients across the globe. You've been working with clients. Every day, I'm sure you must be having your hands-on experience on different sort of clients. What is it one particular client that has really taught you something? Because I'm sure for you also, it's a learning experience. What is that one tough nut that you've had in your career? And what is that smooth thing that you've had in your career? So I think we'd love to hear it from you as well.
Look,
so we surely have our own experiences that we have learned from.
Look, one thing in business, and I learned this a long time ago, is you cannot panic. It's not like this. It's not a smooth road.
Yeah.
It's going to be up and down, up and down. I have clients that panic. Emotional roller coasters.
Yeah.
And I say to them privately, I don't think you're made for business. You need to be an employee.
Yeah.
Because as an employee, it's like this. You get paid.
Yeah.
You don't
You're
go
sorted,
You're sorted. But in business, it's up and down, things go wrong. You need to hold your strength. Don't panic.
Yeah.
Look at the situation. There's my motto in life, every problem has a solution except a health problem.
Yes.
Only God can help you with that.
That's true.
Right? I can help you with any problem, but except that.
That's true.
So when clients come to see me, they panic. A tax officer sent me a letter, they want to liquidate me. Not a problem. And they look at me and saying, how come you're not panicked? So I already have the solution in front of me. They go, oh my God. I go, I feel so much better. And then I say to the client, let me ask you one thing. Say, for example, I'm a doctor and I said to you that you had cancer and I'm panicking.
Yeah.
How would you feel? He goes, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
When the doctor delivers that advice, he's not panicked. This is our solution. Same with business. You've got to be smooth, strength, focus on the problem, don't panic. Because you panic, you lose. And I always use the analogy of, remember those movies that you watch where there's a plane crash?
Yeah.
15 survivors.
Yeah.
Who's the one person that survives?
Yeah.
The one that doesn't panic.
Yeah,
the one that fights.
That's true.
And fights and fights and fights. He survives.
Yeah, that's
the other ones that pass away, they panic.
That's true.
Same in business.
I like this. I think we like to focus on this. That don't panic. Be out there.
Correct.
Whatever you do it with courage. Do it with strength, resilience, and of course, be at it every day. You sleep, you get up, you get on your business, and you make sure that today is going to be a good day for you. And you're just working with all your heart and soul out there. Amazing. It's so good to talk to you, Peter. Which is that one industry that's very, very close to you, and you love clients who come from that background. Of course, you have like a big umbrella of clients, but one industry that's really close to your heart, and you love working with those clients.
Look, obviously a big industry in Australia is property.
Property.
Every Australian wants to build wealth through property. It's part of our culture. I don't know any other culture in the world that has that, right?
Yeah.
So we have one of the biggest industries in Australia, and Australia is very lucky it's got mining. If Australia did not have mining, we would be a banana republic. We sell iron ore to the Chinese. We dig up coal. We can't use it, but we give it to the Chinese, right? That generates a lot of wealth for Australia. Uranium, same thing. We dig it up, sell it to the world, right? However, we have no car industry. We're the only developed economy in the world that doesn't build its own vehicles. At the same time, we don't manufacture anything. So the only thing that keeps the engine room of Australia going is the construction industry. the building industry.
Right.
So a lot of clients come from there. And I love property as well. And it's important when you build property and you sell it in Australia, you've got to know the right structure.
Right.
Otherwise, if you do it wrong,
Yeah.
we have a thing called a GST, which I think you guys in London called a VAT.
Yeah. Oh, GSTs are in India as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you don't structure it right,
Yeah.
especially with residential property,
Yeah.
you pay, it comes off your bottom line. You can't charge it to the customer.
Yeah.
If you don't structure it right, it's your problem. But I'd like to also just add something.
Yes, please.
People say to me, oh, can I be your client? Am I big enough? You know what my answer always is? Yes. They go, what do you mean? I go, I'll give you a story. I had a client that was an employee, comes to see me, group certificate, once a year, $200 client, right? That client today is my biggest client because he left that, started a business, and he's got this huge business enterprise. So if I discriminated against him, oh, mate, you're too small. I can't look after you. You missed that opportunity. Everyone is big enough to be my client because I'm here to help everyone.
Absolutely. So you're leaving where we left. Is that you mentioned that no business is too small or no business is too big. For you, all businesses are the same. And when a client comes to you, you don't see whether he has a small business or he has a big business. And your guidance to every business owner is going to be the same, right? Correct. Also, Peter, you are also into politics. Yes, politics, asset investment, financial management. Tell us, how do these interconnect and how do these actually connect and interrelate?
Look, politics is a passion of mine and a hobby. Although there are some synergies in business. For example, I have clients that are property developers and they need to understand the planning laws. As a counsellor, I can assist them to navigate that. I've got other clients that want to put tenders in to do work for a council, not mine in particular, but any council. So I understand the mindset that they need to, which boxes they need to tick in order to generate that wealth. Government work is very lucrative. It's guaranteed income. Everyone wants it. It makes your business more, I guess, saleable. So these are the synergies between politics and my business. The other part of it, I just love the banter, the debates. I mean, there's no more characters in Australia. Yeah. Everyone's so sanitized. And you look at our Prime Minister, one of the most... You look at some tough people in the world. You got Donald Trump. Yeah. You got Vladimir Putin. You got the Chinese president. You've got the Hungarian Prime Minister. Then you've got the Australian Prime Minister. The demasculization of the man in Australia is out of control. I love politics because it allows me to really, give it to the authorities, because the poor little man down the road is struggling because no one's in the debate for him. That's what I love doing. And it's similar to business, as you can see. Yeah. You're fighting against a big man, the ATO, and you're helping the businesses grow at the same time. Right. So there is a connection between the two.
Absolutely. So what is that you like? Politics is your passion, and taxes and investment and all this is your profession. So do you also, what is that something that if you given a chance to work in politics, would you love to do that in the future? Just apart from, just a fun question.
There is a state election coming up next year, New South Wales, and I'm flirting with the idea, do I make a run? Do I put my hand up to be a local member of parliament? I haven't made an announcement yet. I'm still thinking about it, but I'm probably heading that way. But it's something that I think it's probably in my journey, to be honest with you. I used to be with one of the major parties. You've got two major parties in Britain. You've got two in Australia. I'm now an independent. So it allows me to freestyle and to run my campaign the way I want. So I'm not held to the shackle. Oh, you can't say that. Okay. You can't say that. People want to hear that. Yeah. As an independent, I can just kick down the doors of Parliament and get things done. I'm not held back by the party machine. That's just not my style.
Right. So Peter, also tell us, somebody who's starting, because you're an experienced, you're a pro in this profession. Tell us, if somebody wants to enter what you are doing, what are those 3 things that you've learned in your career? And our viewers who are watching this podcast can just probably get some help from your career, from your experience.
Look, one of the main things in business is, how do I protect my assets? There's no point going into business because it's very risky. Yeah. Even though you're trading as a proprietary limited company, yes, that is it provides the director some sort of protection, but it doesn't give you guaranteed protection. The director bears the risk.
Yeah.
So whatever assets the director has can be challenged. So how do I protect those assets I have in my own name so I don't lose them in business? What's the point of being in business if you're exposed? If something was to go wrong, you could lose everything. What's the point, right? So I set up structures around your assets outside of your business. We put up a fence right, to make sure that they can't be touched. Because more than likely, something's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
As we spoke about before, business is like this, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Something's going to go wrong. And it's too late to come and see me when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
It's got to be done nice and early.
Yeah.
We have a law in Australia where they can look back at your transaction 4 years ago. So if you've done something within the last 4 years before you even went into a bad situation, the courts can challenge that. So we need to do this at the start. When things are great, there's no problems. So if it ever gets challenged, no one can say, oh, you did that to defeat your creditors. So when things are good, say, mate, I had no creditors. I didn't do anything to defeat my creditors.
Prevention is better than cure.
Correct.
Yeah.
I had a client the other day come to see me. He was given a bankruptcy notice. So I said, mate, it's too late now.
Yeah.
Whatever I do now, you should have come to see me
when
a year ago.
Yes, true.
But I remember the client because I had that discussion with him, and he was dragging his feet, umming and ahhing. You know, people are funny. They'll spend 20 grand on a holiday, for example, but when it comes to something to protect their assets, should I do it? Should I not do it? You do it, you know, because at the end of the day, that's the thing that generates your wealth, not the holiday.
Right.
So you prioritize your spending. Everyone can afford everything. Trust me. I hate when they say, I can't afford it.
Yeah, that's why, actually that will get into my next question, but I'll let you complete this first, of course.
Look, like I said, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me have a look at your lifestyle budget.
Yeah.
You're spending $25,000 a year on cigarettes.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go on a holiday that's going to cost you 15 because you can't afford it?
Yep.
You can afford it. But you choose to smoke rather than take the holiday. It's all about choices and allocation of your own resources.
Right.
The word I cannot afford it does not exist.
Yeah.
You know, private health insurance.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate of insurances. I pay for it.
Yeah.
I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at your budget.
Yeah.
You spend 10 grand a year on alcohol. What's more of a priority?
Yeah. Yeah, I think one that's really when education plays a very important role here, that one should actually know where to invest. And so, for example, if I give my personal example as well, I am somebody who will think 100 times before, investing, because I don't have that risk-taking ability. And I'm sure there would be a lot of people, women, men, I'm not going into gender for this matter, but people all the time, they'll have to think, if I put, some amount here, is it going to be safe? If I put some amount here, is it going to be safe? So I think education is where it plays a very, very important role, integral role, that one should know where you have to invest. Like you said, people can spend into smoking, people can spend into drinking, but when it comes to their insurances, they say that, we don't have the budgets for it. We don't want to spend here. So what is that one advice you'd like to give to the people who are watching this podcast? That what are those two important things that you really need to consider, that, this is for them, this is for their life. Okay, so my next question is, there are always rules, like ABC rule, to follow. So is there any thumb rule that we need to follow when it comes to financial planning?
Look, in terms of business, you got so many structures. How do I set up my business? Do I go sole trader? Do I go company? Do I go trust? A lot of startups, because they want to save on costs, they set it up as a sole trader. That's the worst structure you can have. A sole trader means you're exposed. Whatever assets you have are at risk. Second of all, the banks don't really take you seriously. You're a sole trader. It's more difficult to get finance than if you were a company, a proprietary limited company.
Okay.
So the structure at the start is important. That can change as you get bigger, and evolve and basically develop other structures. But if you're setting up a business, never start off as a sole trader.
So never start as a sole trader.
Never.
Okay. So that's one rule: never start as a sole trader. So as an entrepreneur, are there any financial mistakes that one can indulge into? And if there is a possibility, how can one save themselves from that, that risk or getting into a wrong financial planning?
Look, like I said, asset protection
Yeah.
is the key.
Yeah.
Protecting those assets that you have outside of your business. What structure can I incorporate without having to transfer those assets out? Because if you've got all these assets in your own name, and basically if you want to get them fully protected, you put them into a trust. But you've got to pay the stamp duty again. You've got to pay the capital gains tax on getting it out. You've got the land tax. It's not economical.
Yeah.
So I've developed a structure, a proprietary structure that no other accountant in the country has. Without you having to change that and get that out of your name, I can put a fence around it.
Okay.
Right? So in case shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
they can't penetrate through that wall. You still own it,
Yeah.
but I've got a fence around it. A byproduct of that,
Yeah.
you know how they discovered penicillin was by accident? Well, my structure by accident, I discovered, also helps you in a family law situation. When you go for a divorce
Yeah.
and you go into this marriage with all these assets,
Yeah.
and no one wants to lose the assets that they've come in with.
Yes.
They don't mind sharing what they've built together, but no one wants to lose what they've come in with.
Yeah.
So I had a client. I developed this structure for the purpose of protecting his assets in business. Got married several years later, went for a divorce 5 years later.
Yeah.
The courts could not run over my structure. He loves me now. So a byproduct of my structure can also save your assets in a marriage. In Australia, prenup agreements don't work. We have one of the most draconian systems when it comes to family law in the world.
Yeah.
America, different. You can do an agreement and it holds. Not in Australia.
All countries, it's...
Correct.
Yeah.
So my structure
Yeah.
is the way around it. But it's got to be done before marriage, not during marriage.
Not during marriage.
But we didn't develop that structure for that purpose. We only found out about it afterwards when it was tested in the courts. So yeah.
I'm sorry, it also came through your experience that you've
Correct.
had, the clients that you've had in the past.
Correct.
So we spoke about the financial mistakes entrepreneurs make in their early stages. But what is that right time that one can start investing, irrespective you are into sole proprietorship, irrespective you're entering a new business? You start making some money, you start making a certain, start making a certain amount. Okay, now I feel, okay, this is the right time when I can start investing my money into different assets, into different insurances, into different segments out there. So what is that right time? I know, okay, is it somebody like you who's going to help that client? Or is it just comes with the experience? How does this whole process works?
Look, I help clients all the time hold their hand through this process because it's complicated. So the right time is always the right time. When you say investing, most people want to start up a business, right? So that's an investment.
Yeah.
When is the right time to do that? Well, I'm a big fan of gut feel. Sometimes you make decisions, on paper it looks great,
Yeah.
but your gut feeling tells you, don't do it. Trust your gut feeling. Walk away.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's a second brain, they say.
Yeah.
So the right time is when your gut feel tells you to do it. And you've also done the research on it as well, okay? Remember in business, if you're not going to back yourself, who's going to back you?
Yeah.
You're going to knock on the bank's door?
Yeah.
I want you to give me 100%.
Yeah.
I said, well, wait a second. Where's your skin in the game? You need to be able to back yourself.
Yeah.
Have a crack. Do it when, I guess, before you get married, I guess, where you don't have the responsibilities, or when you're established, pretty much any time. But you got to have a go, get the right advice, get the insurances in place,
Yes.
get the right structure in place, get everything lined up.
Yeah.
The rest is up to you.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I think if you do not back yourself, nobody else will. Everyone will think of their own benefits.
Correct.
The bank will think of their own benefits. I think this is where your role comes into place.
Correct.
Okay. So now that we move on to what are your future business plans, and then What are your plans in the future?
Look, I'm looking at a few things for my business. I've always been fascinated with the stock market. As a young guy, I used to, as I remember as a 15-year-old, I used to invest money in the stock market. The next stage I see in my journey is probably putting my accounting firm on the stock market. That's going to be a long journey and a difficult process. But like we just spoke about,
Yes.
if I come back myself, who's
Who
going
else
to take
will?
me?
True.
So I'm going to have a crack. It may work out, it may not. But I've got everything lined up. I see the road. There's going to be bumps. I'm not going to panic, and we're just going to keep going.
Fantastic.
So listing on the stock market gives me an opportunity to grow my business even more.
So since we're also talking about carving our own niche and be the best at what you do, and before it's too late, make sure that your investments are done properly. You get in touch with a financial advisor who's going to be with you, who's going to be guiding you at the best possible capacity and ability. Also tell us, is there a specific right time or a right place? And for the people who are watching this podcast, tell us, we'll have people from all walks of life and people at all ages. What will be your advice to people who are watching this? What age, which step are you in right now, and how you should proceed, how you should go further? What will be your advice?
Look, I guess coming back to one important thing that you mentioned, niche.
Yeah.
Like looking at my industry, there's 10,000 accountants in Australia. 10,000. Right?
Yeah.
90% of the work we all do the same. And it's going to come down to price. If you want to compete in that space, go. It's not my thing. Develop a niche. A niche is where you have a way to solve someone's problems. That's what I do. I'm a problem solver.
Yeah.
I do the basics as well.
Yeah.
But I will see a situation, I'll develop a strategy and get you out of that problem. A problem solver. A niche.
Yeah.
You can charge a premium. Clients don't mind paying it because you've solved their problem. The niche is the most important thing.
Right.
If you don't have a niche, it's going to be difficult for you to succeed in business.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Right.
So you've got to have something that's unique compared to everyone else. Otherwise, you're competing on price. And to compete on price, it's a long spiral downhill.
So is there also any way that one can really self-educate themselves? If when you mention that, people think about that, okay, a certain financial advisor is going to charge a certain price and I really don't have the budgets for it. I really don't have the funds for it. Or right now, I think that I can self-educate myself. Is there also an option? Because right now, Peter, we are in that space wherein everything's online.
Yes.
People are self-educating themselves. There would be wrong, key takeaways that they're taking from different sources of information. Some might be correct, some might not be correct. So, can you rely on something which is available online? Can you rely on something that your past experience has taught you?
I'll give you a good example. Everyone does it, and I do it sometimes. Google Doctor.
Yeah.
I've got a sore neck.
They have ChatGPT nowadays.
What is choice? I've got this pain in my left. What does it mean?
Yeah.
You don't rely on that though, do you?
Yeah.
You go to your doctor.
Yeah.
And then you talk about that. So in my industry, fine, Google it, but you're not going to be able to navigate what I know.
That's true.
Because I'm talking about 25 years of experience, right? Yeah, you can understand the basic things. Yeah. Is that tax deductible? Is that not?
Yeah.
But structuring and all the added value stuff, you can't do it. You can't navigate through it. It's too complicated.
That's true.
Right? But you can educate yourself so when we have the conversation, you can ask me, this is what I want to cover based on what I've read, then I can develop the strategy accordingly.
Right.
It can make our relationship work better
Yeah.
by educating yourself, but you can't do it on your own.
That's true.
I've got a knee problem. How do I fix it? You can't operate on it yourself, right? Same in mine. I'm a financial surgeon.
That's what the role of financial surgeon is. And that one, even though you have X number of things available online, even though you have ChatGPTs nowadays, you have Google, Dr. Google, but that is where your role comes into place. So with this, I think we've had a great conversation. Anything, any suggestion, any advice you'd like to give it to our audiences who are watching this to sum it up And of course, it's been a great and a pleasure talking to you.
It's been great. I've enjoyed the opportunity to do it in London. I guess the best advice, and I come back to what I originally said, is you've got to get a good accountant, good financial surgeon. I've had my doctor for over 25 years. I haven't changed him because he's good.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that people very rarely change is a doctor. But if he's not looking after you, then you've got to change. So if you feel as if he's not taking you to the level that I've just spoken about now,
Yeah.
then you need to look elsewhere. That's the reality of it. You're leaving too much money on the table.
Yeah.
Grab it and reinvest it.
Right.
You've only got a limited capacity to work.
True.
From say
True.
20 to say 70.
Yeah.
You've got 50 years to make as much money as you can.
As you can.
That's it.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah.
You can work forever, but really it's those
50
50 years.
Yeah, that's true.
And the more money you leave on the table for tax, the less you have for generational wealth.
That's true.
That's my tip.
That's true. So one last question. What do you think when we talk about trust, credibility, transparency? This just really came into my mind. How does one really trust? How do I have faith in you that you're going to be taking my money seriously? Because as much as I do, how do I really put that faith in you? How do I really put that trust in you?
I guess you look, from these things, podcasts.
Yeah.
You look at the things we're doing tomorrow at Oxford University. You've got to be an authority in your industry. If you're not going to a person who's an authority in their industry, then really you're not getting what you need. So authority develops trust.
That's nice.
Because at the end of the day, someone who has a position of authority is more likely to be trustworthy than someone who's not known in the industry.
Right. Yeah. So I think a lot of trust also comes from word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yes.
95% of my business is word of mouth.
Yeah, I think that's how it works all the
like
time.
Doctors, right? You don't Google a doctor.
Yes.
You're based on, I go and see my doctor.
Right.
He's really good.
Correct.
So we're in that industry where it's about relationships.
Correct.
I'm not producing a cup or a table.
Right.
I'm just developing a relationship.
Yeah.
And that's where if someone's happy, they're your walking billboard.
Right.
That's what you want.
So I think, I came across this quote, very interesting quote in business, which says that, if people like you, they'll definitely listen to you. But if they really trust in you, they'll do business with you.
Correct.
And I think that goes a long way.
Yes.
Like, if I like you, probably I'll just listen to you. But I've really had that trust in you, I'm going to be in a long-term association, in a business association with you.
Thank you.
Right?
You're exactly right. And I think the same.
Correct. So thank you so much, Peter. It's great talking to you. And thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us and being a part of this wonderful podcast. So I hope everyone who's watching us online has got their hands-on experience when it comes to financial planning, risk assets management, and of course to the whole world of wealth. But thank you everyone for watching us. We'll see you in our next podcast.